I look through my, suddenly, instead of looking at my, and I said, I see an envelope and a letter lying there. And she, as big as she was, as tall, her handwriting was equally so. And her handwriting was Gothic, big, and not to the right like most of us, but to the left.
Uh-huh.
And when I saw that, I exclaimed, I said, Frau Witt. And he said, yes, Frau Witt. Who is Frau Witt? And it was really, really very unpleasant, because there she is, German, maybe she wrote. I
Yes.
never had the letter. He never gave me the letter. It was, there were not 2 lines or 3 lines. It was quite a letter. Maybe she told him. He knew all about it. He knew it all, but he asked me. And I said, she's a lady, she saved my life during the war. Ha! A German saved your life. How is that? I said, well, she did. She saved my mother's life during the war. So tell me about it. So I told him she is German, and we were here and there, and then she kept us in hiding, you know what, the best I knew how to explain. He says, well, really, really, oh. Well, all right, go, that's fine, okay. And let me go, and finished. And that was that. And he kept the letter. I wish I had this letter. And that was it. And he was adamant. He couldn't understand, he couldn't fathom that a German could have saved me. Because he said, how come? You're Jewish, aren't you Jewish? I said, yes, I'm Jewish. So how come a German saved your life? It was
Black and white a bit.
very, very difficult it was difficult to understand, I know. But he didn't have many cases like that, that's for sure, you know. And that's how I found her, and that's how she found me.
And then she came to England.
Came. One couldn't come like that to England. But after my mother came, I brought my mother over first. Not I, but I tried. I was desperate to bring her over, so I, all over the place, whoever, and they helped me. My school, and this Rabbi Schamfeld, and my school helped me, and they brought my mother over as a domestic for the school. And she had a domestic number 1 in the thing, a visa in the domestic number 1, because the school applied that they need domestic servants and they haven't got any. And so they would like to bring this lady over. How they applied, what they said, apart from that, I don't know. And it was approved somehow, and she got a visa. And she came over within a year and 2 months, not quite. So when my mother was over, she and I, both of us started how to bring her over. And of course that was very difficult, being German and so on, very difficult. But we had people who were interested in us, because to many, many people, we were exotic here at the time. I mean, to have survived the war over there, I mean, it wasn't like today that there are survivors here. They didn't see any, they never knew any. You know, the school I was in, the children had no idea. They came to look at us, whether we are from the same planet, you know, as they. It was very difficult. But friends, my mother was very good at making friendships, and people were interested and so on, and we kept meeting once a week on a Sunday. There was sort of social event and so, and we tried wherever we could for people to bring her over. It was again on the same idea of bringing her over as a domestic,
Yes.
as a working force, something, you know. Somebody went from one to another to another. Oh, somebody needs someone, and that way. And she got that. That's how she came over. That's how we managed to get her over. When she came over, of course, it was marvelous. And she didn't want to be a burden. She did not want to be my mother. We had nothing. My mother, you know, so she didn't want to be a burden, and we didn't want her to be somewhere, God knows where. So she said she needs to work. She must go and work somewhere. So let's find some people who maybe she can be a housekeeper, she can clean, you know, do all sorts of things. Somebody said, yes, okay, friends of ours need her, they will take her. Okay. And she was in that place, and she was very unhappy. They treated her abominably. Because she never, ever, ever told anyone what she did during the war. She didn't. Nobody knew. If they didn't know it from me, somehow or other, because I inadvertently would splur something out without knowing that she that didn't tell them. I never imagined, you know. So these people didn't know. And so she, being a German, suffered. And she said, no, I have to do something. I can't, this is no good. I'll go to America. In America, it may be different. And truly, we managed, we arranged, and again, how can she get to America? It wasn't just, you didn't buy a ticket and flew. You had to have a number, go register, all that sort of thing. It was very awkward. And she did. She registered with the American Embassy and so on, so on and so forth. It lasted about 2 years or so. And then she got a quota and she could go. And she went. And then it so happened that I also was in America. I was also in New York for 10 years. So we were there together. And she worked there for a family, and she was very happy, very, very happy, very happy. She was always happy. She never complained. She was very, very, she loved the people she worked with, you know, and then, of course, when I came back to England after 10 years with Karen, she would come on holidays here, and we'd have holidays here, but together and so on. Went to Israel here and there. And that's how it was until she died.
So you have become.
She was sitting here like you are.
So she was like family, and you were like.
Of course, yes. Of course, she
all
was.
Those things that she
much
said.
More than family.
Yeah.
Sometimes families, you know, she was the closest thing with my mother to my. Of course, yes. Absolutely. She loved me. She loved me very much, and my Karen. She thought nobody in the whole world like that. No. Such geniuses don't exist like my Karen and I. To her, that was the ultimate. My husband was going to do a film about her in Germany, and he started, you know, doing a script and this and that, and he brought her over to Berlin. Not that she should know why, just to visit, and, you know, as I was with him in Berlin. So he said, why don't we call up and ask her to come and invite her to come over? So she never uttered a word of German after the war. Not one word of German did she speak after the war. No. They corresponded with my mother. My mother wrote to her in German, and she answered in English. Yeah. And so she came to Berlin, and it was great fun. It was lovely, but she had no idea why she was there. No. And unfortunately, it didn't come to fruition because he died a few months later, and so nothing was done. Yeah.
can I take you back in time a little bit again?
Depends.
So it is the time when you and Mr. Podoshin and his wife and your mom, of course, you go to the monastery and you go in hiding there. Tell me about the meeting with Andrzej Szeptycki.
We came late evening and were brought into a magnificent library or room, I mean, like a magnificent palatial, and it was like a palace. And I, apparently, because I don't remember that at all, but I was told, by the son of the Rabbi Dr. Levin from Lvov, who by that time was also, he and his brother, at the monastery and at the church there, the cathedral. And he was in a monk's habit.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the one who opened the gate and brought us in.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know who he was, no idea. He knew, but no. And apparently, I went straight under a table and I hid myself under a table. Why, I don't know. I must have been scared or something, I don't know, or embarrassed. I don't know why. And he kept always saying, years and years and years later, I said, Lili, I had to drag her out from under a table. I said, what table? I didn't remember that at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were asked to be seated, wait. Surroundings were amazing. And then the big door opened and they wheeled him in because he was in an invalid chair. And in is wheeled a person who is huge, sitting, huge, with a lionine hair, white hair, looked like Verne Hora, like something, white beard, white, amazing hair, and incredibly beautiful blue eyes sort of that look at you and and it maybe that's what frightened me. I don't know. Maybe that's when I ran under the table. I have no idea. Anyway, he asked my mother, speaks to my mother in Polish because she didn't speak Ukrainian, and they discussed something, and then he beckoned to me. So I came out. I was frightened of him. I really, in some ways, maybe, I don't know why, but because he was such an incredible, it was like, I can't tell you. He wasn't like someone you'd meet very often, that's for sure. Mm-hmm. It was totally unique aspect of a person. And he kept me sort of close and he stroked my hair, stroked me. And he said to me in Ukrainian, "Don't be afraid, my child. No harm will come to you here." Those were his words. Mm-hmm. And I stopped being frightened instantly. I mean, as if somebody put something over me that completely placated, placid. All fear went. Mm-hmm. All fear. And he said, "No, not to be afraid, not to be afraid." That was that. And he said, you're going to stay here the night, and tomorrow I'm going to send you to a very nice place, to a convent, and because I cannot keep everybody here, so it's not a good thing. It's not an advisable thing. He said that to my mother. And tomorrow morning you'll go, and there you'll be, and you'll have a very, very wonderful sister who will look after you. And she is the abbess, she is the Mother Superior. She's a very lovely, wonderful lady, and she will have you, to my mother, with her in her quarters, and Lili next door in the orphanage. And that's how it was.
So what was life like for you there, that period?
Well, what can I tell you? What was life like?
How often did you see your mom? She was
I
next
saw
door.
her, yes, I saw her. I knew. It was on the same parameter. It wasn't far away, it was the same, except that Mother Superior had her little house, put it this way. It wasn't a palace like he had. And she kept my mother for a reason, because my mother spoke no Ukrainian. So, out of fear,
Yes.
that others might, one feared one's own people. This is what one feared. It was very far away. It was completely on the outskirts of Lvov. So we hardly saw a soldier or anyone there. They didn't bother to come there. It was almost like a village, full of mud, full of no streets, no pavements. You can imagine. But the very first evening when they brought me there was supper time. And the sister, one of the sisters, one of the nuns, introduced me to the other children. Everybody looking, of course, you can imagine, everybody knew, right? So they're all looking. And she said, and she gave my name and so on. And she's your new friend. Okay. Everybody sat down, we were eating. And after that, there were prayers after food. And then to bed. So we stood up for the prayers, and I was trying to do what the others were doing, of course. But as I stood up, opposite me, like you are now, I see a friend, one of my friends from school, from the time of the Russians, the first time when they were there. A Jewish guy, another Jewish guy. Like you, very blonde, blue-eyed, and there she is. She's looking at me, I'm looking at her, and I can see she's afraid and I'm afraid. We're both scared about each other.
Yes.
Terrible feeling. I don't know why, but and we don't know each other. We're looking, but we don't know each other at all. Then there are prayers, and they cross themselves. Being Greek Catholics, they cross themselves 3 times, right to left. Here am I, what do I know? And I cross myself
the other way around
once. And of course, children are looking at me anyway, because I'm new. And the sister, the nun who is standing there, who brought me, who knew who I was, immediately said, well, why are you looking? They call me Lydia, Litka. Litka is half Polish. She was brought up, her father was Polish, mother Ukrainian, so she doesn't speak Ukrainian very well. She was brought up in Polish, and so she doesn't know. So now she's here because her mother wants her to be with you. All right. So that was fine, no problem. So when we go to bed, this nun says, we're having difficulty now because we haven't got the bed for you yet. We'll have it tomorrow, but we haven't got... So maybe you can sleep, somebody would like, maybe you can sleep with one of the other girls. So this one immediately raises her hand, said, I'll take her. And that's how it was. And so the two of us, and then she, quiet and said, she instructed me in the situation there, and she said, we don't know each other, we don't know each other at all. My name here is so-and-so, but when I was getting undressed, I told you my mother would always, I was always dressed. I was never in some rags like others, so she could make out of anything something for me. And so I hear the girls saying, Devisha, look. Oh, I'm such a princess, because I had a night dress. I had a night dress, and these children had none. And I took out the, I wanted to look at her, she had a night dress. So that's how it was. But
so
after a while, it was okay, and it was very good. I mean, we got nothing to complain about that. They were marvelous, and I don't know. I know about one or two who knew about us, but whether the others did, I don't know. But one or two of whom I know. I had no papers, no documents whatsoever, which was not a very good thing. Everyone had something. I had nothing. I never did. I didn't have there, and I didn't have here. So the Mother Superior, in her wisdom, very, very wonderful woman, very wise, very clever, and very kind. She decided I've got to have a piece of paper. I have to have my name on something. And there was some extra, what do you call them, exams going on in Lvov, which were for, out of school exams, whatever, exterior, whatever they're called. I don't know, there's a name for it. That if you wanted to get to a school and you couldn't, you can try and see if you can pass an exam, and maybe from there you can get into school. Anyway, she learned that there was such a thing going on in town, and she decided that I should go and sit such an exam. I said, well, how can I go and sit an exam? I have no idea. I haven't been to school. I mean, well, and anyway, I said, it's dangerous. Somebody might know me or something. She said, no, you'll go with Sister Anastasia, with this one. She will take you. You'll go with them. And the minute you finish, you won't linger or anything like this. You'll go. Both of you go back, and that's it. You go with her, so it's fine. So here I come, and there are, I don't know, 100 children. It's like they do here, external exams, And on there's a bench or something, there are a number of teachers or whoever, and examiners sitting there, and so this one for that, this one for that. And one of them I recognized, but he didn't recognize me because he saw so many children. Yes. So to him, but I knew him, that he was one of the inspectors during the Russian occupation who come to inspect schools. He inspected some of the schools, And he would come to the school where I was, and he would come into the classroom and sit and you know, be a witness to how we, you know, how we